Hello again, and welcome back to day 21 of our Chronological Bible in a Year reading. Hope you're as excited to hop back in as I am. Today we have Genesis 27, 28, and 29. Without further ado, here we go. Genesis 27. And it came to be, when Yitzchak was old, and his eyes were too dim to see, that he called Esau his brother, his elder son, and said to him, My son. And he answered him, Here I am. And he said, See now, I am old, I do not know the day of my death. Now then, please take your weapons, your quiver and your bow, and go out to the field and hunt wild game for me. And make me a tasty dish, such as I love, and bring it to me to eat, in order that my being may barak you before I die. And Ribkah heard when Yitzchak spoke to Esau his son. And Esau went to the field to hunt wild game and to bring it. And Ribkah spoke to Jacob her son, saying, See, I heard your father speak to Esau your brother, saying, Bring me wild game, and make me a tasty dish to eat, and barak you in the presence of Yahuwah before my death. And now, my son, listen to my voice according to what I command you. Please go to the flock and bring me 2 choice young goats, and I make a tasty dish from them for your father, such as he loves. And you shall take it to your father, and he shall eat it, so that he might barak you before his death. And Jacob said to Ribkah his mother, See, Esau my brother is a hairy man, and I am a smooth-skinned man. What if my father touches me? Then I shall be like a deceiver in his eyes, and shall bring a curse on myself, and not a barakah. But his mother said to him, Let your curse be on me, my son. Only obey my voice, and go, get them for me. And he went and fetched them, and brought them to his mother, and his mother made a tasty dish, such as his father loved. And Ribkah took the best garments of her elder son Esau, which were with her in the house, and put them on Jacob her younger son. And she put the skins of the young goats on his hands, and on the smooth part of his neck. Then she gave the tasty dish and the bread, which she had prepared, into the hand of her son Jacob. And he went to his father and said, My father. And he said, Here I am. Who are you, my son? And Jacob said to his father, I am Esau, your firstborn. I have done as you said to me. Please rise, sit and eat of my wild game, so that your being might barak me. But Yitzchak said to his son, How is it that you have found it so quickly, my son? And he said, Because Yahuwah your Elohim brought it to me. Then Yitzchak said to Jacob, Please come near, so that I feel you, my son, whether you truly are my son Esau or not. And Jacob went near to Yitzchak his father, and he felt him, and said, The voice is the voice of Jacob, but the hands are the hands of Esau. And he did not recognize him, for his hands were hairy like his brother Esau's hands, and he barak him. And he said, Are you truly my son Esau? And he said, I am. And he said, Bring it near to me, and let me eat of my son's wild game, so that my being might barak you. So he brought it near to him, and he ate. And he brought him wine, and he drank. And his father Yitzchak said to him, Please come near and kiss me, my son. And he came near and kissed him. And he smelled the smell of his garments, and barak him, and said, See, the smell of my son is like the smell of a field which Yahuwah has barak. And and Elohim give you of the dew of the Shamayim, of the fatness of the earth, and plenty of grain and wine. Let people serve you, and nations bow down to you. Be master over your brothers, and let your mother's sons bow down to you. Cursed be those cursing you, and Baruch be those barakah you. And it came to be, as soon as Yitzchak had finished barakah Jacob, and Jacob had hardly left the presence of Yitzchak his father, that Esau his brother came in from his hunting. And he too had made a tasty dish, and brought it to his father, and said to his father, Let my father rise and eat of his son's wild game, so that your being might barak me. And his father Yitzchak said to him, Who are you? And he said, I am your son, your firstborn, Esau. Then Yitzchak shuddered with exceedingly great trembling, and said, Who was it then who hunted wild game and brought it to me? And I ate all of it before you came, and I have barak him. Even so, he is Baruch. When Esau heard the words of his father, he cried with an exceedingly great and bitter cry, and said to his father, Barak me too, O my father. And he said, Your brother came with deceit and took your barakah. And Esau said, Was his name then called Jacob? for he has caught me by the heel these 2 times. He took my birthright, and see, now he has taken my barakah. And he said, Have you not reserved a barakah for me? Then Yitzchak answered and said to Esau, See, I have made him your master, and all his brothers I have given to him as servants, and I have sustained him with grain and wine. And what then shall I do for you, my son? And Esau said to his father, Have you only 1 barakah, my father? Barak me too, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Yitzchak his father answered and said to him, See, your dwelling is of the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of the Shamayim from above. And by your sword you are to live and serve your brother. And it shall be, when you grow restless, that you shall break his yoke from your neck. And Esau hated Jacob because of the barakah with which his father barak him. And Esau said in his heart, The days of mourning for my father draw near. Then I am going to kill my brother Jacob. And the words of Esau, her older son, were reported to Ribkah, and she sent and called Jacob, her younger son, and said to him, See, your brother Esau comforts himself concerning you, to kill you. And now, my son, listen to my voice and rise. Flee to my brother Laban in Haran, and stay with him a few days until your brother's wrath turns away, until your brother's displeasure turns away from you, and he forgets what you have done to him. And I shall send and bring you from there. Why should I be bereaved of you both in 1 day? And Ribkah said to Yitzchak, I am disgusted with my life because of the daughters of Heth. If Jacob takes a wife from the daughters of Heth, like those who are the daughters of the land, what is my life to me? Chapter 28. And Yitzchak called Jacob and barak him, and commanded him, and said to him, Do not take a wife from the daughters of Canaan. Arise, go to Padan Aram, to the house of Bethuel your mother's father, and take a wife for yourself from there, from the daughters of Laban your mother's brother. And El Shaddai barak you, and make you bear fruit and increase you, and you shall become an assembly of peoples, and give you the barakah of Abraham to you and your seed with you, so that you inherit the land of your sojournings, which Elohim gave to Abraham. So Yitzchak sent Jacob away, and he went to Padan Aram, to Laban, son of Bethuel, the Aramean, the brother of Ribkah, the mother of Jacob and Esau. And Esau saw that Yitzchak had barak Jacob, and sent him away to Padan Aram to take himself a wife from there, and that as he barak him, he gave him a command, saying, Do not take a wife from the daughters of Canaan. And that Jacob had obeyed his father and his mother, and had gone to Padan Aram. So Esau saw that the daughters of Canaan did not please his father Yitzchak. And Esau went to Ishmael, and took Mahalath, the daughter of Ishmael, Abraham's son, the sister of Nebaioth, to be his wife, besides the wives he had. And Jacob went out from Beersheba, and went toward Haran. And he came upon a place, and stopped over for the night, for the sun was down. And he took one of the stones of that place, and put it at his head, and he lay down in that place to sleep. And he dreamed, and saw a ladder standing on the earth, and its top reached to the Shamayim, and saw messengers of Elohim going up and coming down on it. And see, Yahuwah stood above it, and said, I am Yahuwah Elohim of Abraham your father, and the Elohim of Yitzchak. The land on which you are lying, I give it to you and your seed. And your seed shall be as the dust of the earth, and you shall break forth to the west and to the east, to the north and to the south. And all the clans of the earth shall be Baruch in you and in your seed. And see, I am with you, and shall guard you wherever you go, and shall bring you back to this land. For I am not going to leave you until I have done what I have spoken to you. And Jacob awoke from his sleep, and said, Truly, Yahuwah is in this place, and I did not know it. And he was afraid, and said, How awesome is this place! This is none other than the house of Elohim, and this is the gate of the Shamayim. And Jacob rose early in the morning, and took the stone that he had put at his head, put it up as a standing column, and poured oil on top of it. And he called the name of that place Bethel. However, the name of that city had been Luz previously. And Jacob made a vow, saying, Seeing Elohim is with me, and has kept me in this way that I am going, and has given me bread to eat and a garment to put on, when I have returned to my father's house in peace, and Yahuwah shall be my Elohim, Then this stone which I have placed as a standing column shall be Elohim's house, and of all that you give me I shall certainly give a tenth to you. Chapter 29. And Jacob moved on and came to the land of the people of the east. And he looked and saw a well in the field, and saw 3 flocks of sheep lying by it, for out of that well they watered the flocks. And a large stone was on the well's mouth. And all the flocks would be gathered there. Then they would roll the stone from the well's mouth and water the sheep, and put the stone back in its place on the well's mouth. So Jacob said to them, My brothers, where are you from? And they said, We are from Haran. And he said to them, Do you know Laban, son of Nahor? And they said, We know him. So he said to them, Is he well? And they said, Well. And see, his daughter Rahel, is that Rachel? Rahel is coming with the sheep. And he said, See, it is still high day, not the time for the livestock to be gathered together. Water the sheep, and go and feed them. But they said, We are not allowed until all the flocks are gathered together, and they have rolled the stone from the well's mouth. Then we shall water the sheep. While he was still speaking with them, Rahel came with her father's sheep, for she was a shepherdess. And it came to be, when Jacob saw Rahel the daughter of Laban his mother's brother, and the sheep of Laban his mother's brother, that Jacob went near and rolled the stone from the well's mouth, and watered the flock of Laban his mother's brother. And Jacob kissed Rahel, and lifted up his voice and wept. And when Jacob told Rahel that he was her father's relative, and that he was Ribkah's son, she ran and told her father. And it came to be, when Laban heard the report about Jacob his sister's son, that he ran to meet him, and embraced him and kissed him, and brought him to his house. Then he told Laban all these matters. And Laban said to him, You are indeed my bone and my flesh. And he stayed with him for a month. Then Laban said to Jacob, Because you are my relative, should you therefore serve me for naught? Let me know, what should your wages be? And Laban had 2 daughters. The name of the elder was Leah, and the name of the daughter was Rahel. And Leah's eyes were weak, but Rahel was lovely of form and appearance. And Jacob loved Rahel, so he said, Let me serve you 7 years for Rahel your younger daughter. And Laban said, It is better that I give her to you than that I should give her to another man. Stay with me. So Jacob served 7 years for Rahel, and they seemed to him but a few days, because of the love he had for her. Then Jacob said to Laban, Give me my wife, for my days are completed, and let me go in to her. And Laban gathered all the men of the place, and made a feast. And it came to be in the evening that he took Leah his daughter, and brought her to Jacob, and he went in to her. And Laban gave his female servant Zilpah to his daughter Leah as a female servant. And in the morning it came to be that, see, it was Leah. So he said to Laban, What is this you have done to me? Was it not for Rahel that I served you? Why then have you deceived me? And Laban said, It is not done this way in our place, to give the younger before the firstborn. Complete the week of this one, then we give you this one too, for the service which you shall serve with me still another 7 years. And Jacob did so, and completed her week. Then he gave him his daughter Rahel too as wife. And Laban gave his female servant Bilhah to his daughter Rahel as a female servant. And he also went in to Rahel, and he also loved Rahel more than Leah. And he served with Laban still another 7 years. And Yahuwah saw that Leah was unloved, and he opened her womb, but Rahel was barren. And Leah conceived and bore a son, and she called his name Reuben. For she said, For Yahuwah has looked on my affliction, because now my husband is going to love me. And she conceived again and bore a son, and said, Because Yahuwah has heard that I am unloved, he gave me this son too. And she called his name Shimon. And she conceived again and bore a son, and said, Now this time my husband is joined to me, because I have borne him 3 sons. So his name was called Lewi. And she conceived again and bore a son, and said, Now I praise Yahuwah. So she called his name Yehudah, and she ceased bearing. And that concludes our reading for today. Thank you for joining me, of course. And we'll see you tomorrow. Peace, blessings, and love as always.